Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Simone Vincenzi Talks Business, and today is all about podcasts. We're going to talk about what are some of the podcast strategies that I do, why I run two podcasts, and some of the things that you can do to leverage your podcast to grow your business. The reason why I'm talking about this, it is because today I spent the entire day recording about 8 different episodes for our main podcast, which is Explode Your Expert Business Show. If you haven't subscribed to that one, make sure you find your favorite podcasting platform and subscribe to Explode Your Expert Business Show. And where we interview incredible business owners, experts in their field, and we ask them how do they grow their businesses, find all the behind the scene. So I spent the entire day doing the recording, doing a webinar for a joint venture partner, the one and only Louisa Havers. Thank you, Louisa, for the opportunity. It's been incredible training. And also I'm running the solo podcast, which is the Simone Vincenzi Talks Business. So why am I running two podcasts first? Well, the reason why I'm running two podcasts, it is because every podcast is different. Every podcast has, the way I think about it, I see it as two different brands. The Explode Your Expert Business Show is a long form and is about interviewing other people, is about interviewing clients, is about interviewing experts. And there are three types of things I want to achieve with that show. Number one is connecting with incredible people in their field and experts and authorities. I had the pleasure to interview Jarek Robbins, which is the son of Tony Robbins. I have the pleasure to interview Frank Kern, internet marketing legend. And so the podcast is a great networking tool. It not only allows me to learn from them and to get information from them, but to network with industry leaders. So that's number one. And number two is to create in-depth content. That's the purpose of that podcast, where I can create something which is more where we're going deeper. And the other purpose, which is the last one, is to interview clients, which then we repurpose as case studies, and that helps us also attract other clients. So that's the purpose of Explode Your Expert Business Show. Now let's go into the purpose of Simone Vincenzi Talks Business, which is a different show. Simone Vincenzi Talks Business started as a project to voice my decision-making principles. So all I do is to look at things that I do throughout the day and then explain why I do certain things. Now that project is going to be turned into a book. I got inspired by an incredible book called Principles from Ray Dalio. If you haven't read the book Principles, read it. It is, I think, one of my business Bibles. And it was inspired by the fact that he built one of the largest investment companies in the world. And he documented all his decision-making principles, the way he was running his life, his business, his companies, and so on. And I decided to do something similar to document why I'm making certain decisions. And that's where Simone Vincenzi Talks Business was born. Now that turned into as well broadcasting it to other people, because why keeping it for myself? Maybe there is one or two decision-making principles of the things that we do and understanding why we do them that can help you out, can benefit your business. And so I turned that solo podcast into something open to everyone. Before I would only release it to our clients and to our team. Now it's for everyone. Now, the next thing is why am I running two different podcasts? So why did I decide not to run one? Because they are two different beasts. They are two different niches. One is about building my personal brand. The GTeX one, the Explode Your Expert Business podcast, is about the work that we do at GTeX. So it's two different brands. And as well, there are two different formats. One is like short solo episodes, and the other one is long form, in-depth content and interview. So I didn't want to mix the two dynamics. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is how do I leverage podcast. There are a few things that you can do to leverage it to get opportunities. I mentioned already about networking. It is a great way to network. I use podcasts predominantly to connect with people. content is produced as a result of that connection. And I'm sure sometimes you had these ideas where you're thinking, oh, I wish I recorded this conversation. And then you didn't. Hey, Siawash, good to see you, buddy. So this is a way to document incredible conversations that I have with industry leaders. Now, the next way in which I leverage it is to sell product and services, is to build a relationship with those industry leaders, and maybe they can become joint venture partnerships. In fact, one of the things I do is then to book another call to see what synergies there are. Some of these people, they became clients. Some of them, they connected me with other opportunities. And I connected them with other opportunities. So it is about networking. That's a great way to leverage your show. And another thing that you can leverage it is to get on other shows. Now, it's easier to be interviewed if you have your own one. When I approach a podcast where I want to be interviewed at, I do one thing. I say, hey, I have a show. Would you like to be my guest? Now, they're very likely to say yes. Therefore, when I'm building the relationship with them, what do? I say, hey, would you like, can I be your guest? But now they've already been mine. Or they will say, hey, how about we do a podcast swap? I'll come on yours and you'll be on mine. And so that's another way, by having your own show, to get interviewed by others. While before you might have to just say, hey, can I be interviewed on your show? No, that's different. I reach out to someone I want to be interviewed at on their show, and they say, hey, would you like to be on my show? That's the first ask. I do my show, and then we build a relationship, and it might happen that I'll be on their show. Depending on how big their show is, it might happen that they interview me. I had one or two that they said, no, you're not the right fit for the show. And that's okay. So be open to that. Yes, absolutely. Siawash, you are going to be next. I'll send you the link, man. We got to schedule a podcast with you to document your journey. You've seen your growth has been incredible with the Muslim Coaching Academy. So make sure everyone who's watching this or you're listening, check Siawash Zamat, the one and only from the Muslim Coaching Academy. All right, it's up for me. Time to go and time to switch off for the evening. Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching live on my Facebook profile, if you're listening on your favorite podcasting platform, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for another brand new episode of Simone Vincenzi Talks Business. Ciao.